Thank you, Dean Peters.
Yeah.
They just don't make these mic stands tall enough. But as an engineer, we improvise. Good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of the Board of Governors, it's my privilege to welcome you to this very august and somber ceremony, and I welcome you all to this today. As we've all said, it's a wonder to see how this ceremony has grown. I was in it from the very beginning. I was a fairly newly minted engineer, brought back into the fold with participation in the Alumni Association, and it was myself and 4 other graduates. It was a 6-pack of warm soda, a bag of stale chips, and we went through the ceremony ourselves, and it's gone from those 4 or 5 people now to pushing 100, and I think it's wonderful. My wife is a nurse. I attended her pinning ceremony. I know several medical doctors. They had to take the Hippocratic Oath. Engineers do service as well to the general public. How come we never had anything like this? Well, I'm proud to say that that's changed, and it really has spread across the United States. I, like Chancellor Lovell, have been to other countries, and when this little ring is seen on my finger, immediately people know that guy's an engineer, and it's really a wonderful identifying mark to have. Well, let us begin the task at hand, the ceremony for induction into the Order of the Engineer. Progression from the academic to the real and challenging world of engineering is a transition that requires clear vision and an understanding as to what we as engineers and computer scientists have done and must do for humanity everywhere. As engineers and computer scientists, we owe a debt to our profession. With technology progressing rapidly and changing the very fabric of our society, we have a responsibility to be the informed guardians of scientific knowledge and to promote safe and responsible uses of its power. The responsibility is an important one. We look to you and place much faith in you, the engineers of the future, to help bring about this unity of purpose that can only spell good for the entire spectrum of our profession and for the public at large. Thomas Carlyle, the Scottish essayist, defines society as a vital articulation of many individuals into a new individual. Decades ago, our counterparts in Canada felt the same kind of feeling. They believed that a need existed for the introduction of a spirit of unity and cohesiveness among engineers. The Canadians believed a good way to go about achieving this would be to instill in those engineers a consciousness of belonging to one another, to themselves as individuals, and to those to whom they serve. They felt it could be embodied in a single word: obligation. Thus was brought about into being in Canada, which is now known as the ritual of the calling of the engineer. The words of the ritual were written by the English author Rudyard Kipling. Kipling had much depth of feeling for engineers as the builders of things intended to benefit mankind. The Canadian ceremony is dignified, impressive, and includes the placing of a ring on the small finger of the working hand and repeating the words of Kipling. It's difficult to visualize any better symbolism than the continuity of a ring, worn for all to see, and saying in effect, here is an engineer possessed of a publicly avowed dedication to their profession and to those to whom they have promised to serve. In Ohio, the similar maxims to those written by Kipling took firm root. Beginning in 1966, an American engineer, Homer Borton, led a group that had been already honored by the Canadian Wardens to actively pursue the objectives of what is now known as the Order of the Engineer here in the United States. The first ceremony was held at Cleveland State University in 1970. Each participant signed a creed and received a stainless steel ring placed on the finger of the working hand. About 170 engineering seniors and engineering faculty members participated in that first ceremony. In the time since its inauguration, the order has now spread to all 50 states. Such is the story of the increasing acceptance of the Order of the Engineer. It is patterned on a Canadian concept, but with differences that are distinctly ours, with the stainless steel ring symbolizing the strength and unity of a profession and providing an identifying mark of an engineer. The order is best described by words of the founder, Homer Borton, and I quote, "Those of us who have participated in the formation of the order believe that it is a fellowship of engineers trained in science and technology, and dedicated to the teaching, administration, or practice of their profession. Initiation into the order includes adherence to a creed and acceptance of a stainless steel ring to be worn on the working hand. There are no further meetings to attend or dues or subscriptions to pay. The obligation is voluntary, but it is for life. The order does not replace or compete with any other educational, scientific, or engineering organization, but lends dignity and significance to those who are already members. The ring is a constant reminder of the wearer's calling, a bond of strength in adversity, and assurance that one is not alone in their endeavors, but is joined by a vast number of peers with a common purpose and resolution. It is a badge of recognition also, which will be known to the public. Let it be worn with pride and viewed with honor. Who is entitled to enter the order and wear the ring? Only those who have met the high standards of engineering, training, administration, or practice, and who voluntarily accept the obligation. The ring is not a trinket to be bought, nor an award to be conferred carelessly. It is rather the symbol of the wedding of the engineer with their profession. The Order of the Engineer is an indication of pride in engineering by a profession that believes in learned preparation and devoted service. And I think those words really sum up the effect and the feeling of this ceremony. I now would like to ask the incoming engineers to please stand up, face your public, and we're going to recite the obligation of the engineer to those gathered with us today. Just as a reminder, the boldface stuff is what we say together, and the regular print is me. All right, then let us begin. I am an engineer. In my profession, I take deep pride. To it, I owe solemn obligations. Since the Stone Age, human progress has been spurred by the engineering genius. Engineers have made usable nature's vast resources of material and energy for humanity's benefit. Engineers have vitalized and turned to practical use the principles of science and the means of technology. Were it not for this heritage of accumulated experience, my efforts would be feeble. As an engineer, I pledge to practice integrity and fair dealings, tolerance and respect, and to uphold devotion to the standards and the dignity of my profession, conscious always that my skill carries with it the obligation to serve humanity by making the best use of Earth's precious wealth. As an engineer, in humility, I shall participate in none but honest enterprises. When needed, my skill and knowledge shall be given without reservation for the public good. In the performance of duty and in fidelity to my profession, I will give the utmost. Thank you. You may be seated.